Morning guys, Ricky here with the Backpacking Scouter. So we got started again on day 3. Got a good start this morning, kind of did quick. One of the things I forgot to mention last night as was closing out yesterday's video was that when we decided to go ahead and set up camp after the 23-mile day that we had, we ended up dry camping, which worked out okay for us. I mean, we made sure that we had enough water to be able to do it and to have that option. But we didn't have a whole lot of luxury water. So we were pretty adamant this morning about getting up first thing and getting packed up pretty quick and doing the extra 1.75 miles to get to the next water source, which we didn't have it in us when we were 23 miles in yesterday to get this far. And we had also heard that there were a lot of potential people that came in from town to camp down at the water source, so we chose to have a little bit more solitude. But so we got up first thing this morning, headed out so we could get our water bottles filled up. We're taking a little bit of a 30-minute break this morning, eating breakfast and getting some water going for us so that we've got water for the day. Today hopefully it's going to look a little easier for us. We'll see how it goes. We're going to, I think, finish up segment 6 and then get started on segment 7. Probably get somewhere near to the Breckenridge area today, but it should be a nice day. So far, blue skies, nice sunny day. Hopefully that'll continue throughout the day. Let's see how the day goes. See you on the trail. Well, we're about 10 miles in. We just got through stopping and taking lunch at a nice water source where we could fill our water back up, kind of take our time, enjoy some shade. Then a lot of uphill today. And we're about to start a whole bunch more of uphill. And so we've got a decision point we'll be making here in about 2.5 miles, about halfway up the summit. The summit's about 5 miles, about 2,500 foot, which is a lot, especially after a 23-mile day yesterday. So there's a good water source at about 2.5 miles up. It's about halfway up the summit. We're gonna kind of make a decision there on whether or not we keep going. If we keep going, it'll add another 2.5 miles up the summit, and then another 2 miles down to the next camping area, which will put us at about 17. So I think we might be able to do it, but we'll see. Sure, it might be worth it. You know, crushing through all this snow is no fun, but that view. How windy this is going to sound, but it's gorgeous up here. Definitely give you a bird's eye view of everything. So, turned out to be a really good day. Well, we made it to camp. Had another long day. It wasn't too bad though. We made it to our first point that we had talked about at the 12.5 miles in, and made the decision that we thought we could still continue on. We still, you know, we were at lunch and we were 10 miles in. And so as you saw from some of the clips, we made the summit. And I actually felt pretty decent. I mean, towards the end, I mean, that was a lot of uphill and some really steep uphill. And then too, there was, like, as you saw in the videos, a lot of snow still on the mountain. They had to slush through. Thankfully, it was not quite post-holing, but it wasn't quite icy either. So it was almost the right depth, in a sense, and the right texture to where you could kind of place your foot, make sure your weight was good, and then make it through there. It was definitely difficult with Willa going along. She likes to kind of get in a hurry, and it's really easy for her to go across there with 4 paws and some claws. But we made it. We made it to the top, and then, you know, coming down was a lot harder than we thought. I think that really impacted me more than a lot of the day did, because it's just so steep. It's almost as steep as, I guess, as we were going up. And so, whereas when we got to the top, I was like, man, I feel great. My legs don't hurt. My ankles don't hurt. My back kind of a little bit hurt, but not bad. But then by the time we got to camp, we went another a little over 2 miles down until we found a water source, and then we filled up our water. And then went down about a quarter of a mile and found a beautiful campsite. I mean, as you can see behind me here, it's just gorgeous views. It's gonna make for a pretty sunrise, hopefully, if we can keep some of these clouds around. So just an amazing place. I'll give you a show here in a second of what the camp looks like. We've been sitting here. I'm definitely whooped. Definitely we found out that I was a little bit more tired than I really thought I was. When I first got to camp, I didn't think I was this tired. But after sitting here for a little while, editing some of the videos and eating dinner, I don't want to get up. So I'm enjoying myself, just kind of sitting here against the tree here and enjoying some relaxation. Willa's even been napping since we got back to camp, so I think we're all a little pooped. As far as, every day we talk a little bit about something that we did to prep to get ready for the trip. Today I'll tell you a little bit about backpacking with a dog. Willa is an English Springer Spaniel, and she's only a year old. So we've only been practicing over the course of the last 4 months or so, getting her ready for the trail. I waited. I didn't do a lot when she was a puppy because, it can be bad on their joints to put too much training and too much exercise on them. And so I waited until she was a little older. And then we just started with simple hikes. We would go through and just do some things there in the neighborhood. And then finally, eventually, I did buy her, or actually I got it from a neighbor, her first backpack. And I started just kind of putting it on her, getting her used to going down the trails without anything in it, getting her used to having it on. And then I just slowly, as we continued to do more trails and get ready, I'd take her on all the hikes that I would go on and any of the backpacking trips. She's already been on 2 weekend backpacking trips. And so I would slowly started adding more and more weight to her pack because she's carrying a bit of her food. And she's, got just a couple other minor things in there. She's got some boots that we let her wear some during the winter. I brought them also just in case. I didn't want her, if she started her paws starting to kind of get hurt on any of these rocks, I wanted to be able to have an option. So she's got some socks and some boots. The socks we use almost every day, mainly for when she sleeps in the tent with either myself or Liam. We both have air pads, and she's got claws. So before she comes in the tent at night, she gets socks put on her feet so that we can try to keep our air pads from getting popped while we're out. And so some of the other things you really want to just watch for, when you're backpacking, with a dog, everything revolves around the dog. If they want to take a break, you take a break. If they're thirsty, you want to stop. I have a habit of every time we cross a stream, I give her the option to take a drink. I've also, if I know we're summiting or we're going to be in some sunny spots, I try to splash some water on her. Because if you think you're hot, she's twice as hot, if not more. Watch for things like panting. That's one of the biggest signs that they'll have when they start to get hot. You want to find a place for them to be able to cool down. So for me, it works out nicely. We pair out decently because I'm a 44-year-old guy who needs breaks every once in a while, especially when we're summiting. So we find a shady spot or a shady tree and we take a break and we both kind of cool off a little bit. Outside of that, you really just kind of want to make sure that you've got enough food for them. I bring a little extra than what she's used to because we're burning some pretty big calories out here. So she's even known to get a little bit of my lunch or dinner sometimes just to make sure that she's got enough food. And you really want to try to make sure that they're drinking enough water. They may not always show that they want water. I found a trick that you can take a little bit of the juice from, say, your food, mix it into a full bowl of water, and they will drink it up. I've also heard, and I just haven't tried it yet, that you could take the bouillon cubes and put a little bit of that in there, and it'll make them drink the water so that they're drinking an extra amount of water. Because just like yourself, we want to make sure that everybody's hydrated and that we're staying well out on the trail. Outside of that, it's just have a lot of fun. For Willa, she's younger. Like I said, so she's a year, so we've really been working with her a lot on trail etiquette and Trail commands, which she's been taking really well. I had started kind of letting her be off leash some and working with commands for that. So far this year on the Colorado Trail, we've been pretty much on leash for the whole time, just because we started 4th of July weekend, and so it's been super busy this weekend. And so I always try to keep her on the leash if there's people around or other dogs around, or especially mountain bikers. There's been a lot of mountain bikers in segments 6 and 7 over the last couple days. So far we've just kind of kept her on the leash. She does have a tendency sometimes to pull, because she's got a lot more energy than I do, and so we're working on that now to try to find ways. The thing that I try the most is you can either clip the harness on the front end, so that when she tries to pull too hard, it turns her a little bit. We've used that a lot at home, and it seems to work pretty well. So I did that this afternoon on those really steep downhills, because I find that that's the biggest issues that I have a lot of times, is her trying to pull me a little too fast on the downhill. On the uphill, if she feels like she's got the energy, then sometimes I'll let her pull on it. But my challenge is though, she'll get me on a pace that I'm not quite used to, and so it'll wind me pretty quick. So really work with them. Because of that, we're only letting Willa, because she's still young, we're only letting her out here for the first 6 days of our trek, and for the through hike. And so my wife is going to meet us at Twin Lakes, and she's going to pick her up, bring us our first resupply, and hang out with us, and we're going to get a nice cabin there here in a few days. So looking forward to that extremely. Outside of tomorrow, not really sure what it's going to look like. We haven't really planned it completely out for tomorrow yet. I know the one thing that we're going to do, and that's here in about 4 miles in the morning, we're going to hit Copper Mountain, and Liam and I are going to stop and gorge ourselves on some good breakfast food. So super looking forward to that. It'll be nice to have something besides trail food on that. But outside of that, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys watching it. As I mentioned before, like and subscribe if you want to keep up with us as we go along and through hike the Colorado Trail. And look forward to the things tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow, and happy trails.